Today's question is beyond obvious. What is SEO? So it's kind of banal topic, but let's look at this one with eyes of different person. So let's suppose a situation. I've got a client who's the owner of business that was selling company directories, company data, and started back in the days, like 20, 25, and 30 years ago. And now you picture this person who's asking, okay, why do I have to change something? And I don't even understand what is SEO. Let's take this particular stance here to probably shed some light on what is SEO in a current setting in modern days and how it actually works here. And we start with the preliminary topics, including the business logic of Google itself. Google, by the methodology of Adrian Slivotsky, in the row of clients, Google is the first client of yours. You have to satisfy this client before you can even proceed further on. So, the logic of Google is to organize the whole universe of information in such a way that comes from known consensus or unknown topics onto the consensus, or where the knowledge is particularly set and everything is clear. So Google goes organizing information from one point to another. And the SEO guy, the person who is doing SEO, is trying to help Google, in effect, to organize information in such a way. And if the first row client is satisfied, then he is a gatekeeper, would push you onto the next client. What Google wants is that information will be perfectly clear. People still want to search, so the number of searches is very important for Google, and people would be satisfied. Two things seemingly contradictory: number of searches and satisfaction from search. But no, Google says that it can coexist, and this is a kind of first miracle here. So you as a SEO have to understand how to help Google and to keep the clients coming in satisfied and searching for more. So your interlocutor may ask, what Google stands for here in this equation? Google stands for user satisfaction. This is one of the most important points here in this section, is that Google operates the concept of perceived. Perceived is a key word here. So perceived user satisfaction. This is how he would rank all the search results. This is what he works towards, because this perceived user satisfaction is what keeps coming his clients for more, keeps them using Google. So here, the job of SEO is to be able to translate how any search engine sees user satisfaction into the business logic of business owners who use Google. So let's probably do some takeaways, small recap of findings here in this section. First and foremost is that it's good to think of SEO if you imagine a kind of business owner who started back 30 years ago when no Google was in place, who heavily relies on information sharing, and this is he exactly to who you actually want to explain what is SEO. It helps a lot because you not only have to explain what is it, but also how it works, why these things work, and why exactly they bring results, what kind of results you have in mind. So very precise number. This is hard, but this is also fascinating. The second takeaway is that when we say Google, we mean information organization coming from low consensus or unknown parts of the information into high consensus or very much likely scientifically precise knowledge. This is very important because Google would organize the older world information by the same path. And the third important takeaway is that the concept of perceived user satisfaction is very central to this discussion, because Google, by its business model, would come from showcasing the valuable information, would act in the role of gatekeeper into our world of other customers, and the key to this door is perceived value, perceived user satisfaction. This is how search engines would envisage what user might be satisfied with. So here we must probably, by all the laws of the genre, we must go to the section number 2, which is to say how Google works, starting from finding, crawling and indexing your website. But we will do other things. That's probably a trick here. So we will start with three dilemmas of Google by the business logic of Google, which can help understand a lot by things coming forth why the actual search has been done this way. So first dilemma is a dilemma of unnecessary intermediary. The second dilemma is about being ecological, sustainable. And the third one is dilemma of diminishing return or diminishing satisfaction. You may call it satisfaction saturation from search. So unnecessary intermediary dilemma. Suppose you have a website that lends channels users from Google search results to the very similar search results on your website. This is a business model of most marketplaces. So what exactly happens here is that you, in the eyes of search engine, is a necessary link in the chain. Actually, your activity, your business, it contradicts the principal or key objectives of search engine. This is to keep more searches coming in and to keep users satisfied. So here, with this unnecessary intermediary dilemma, so soon as you produce these kind of websites, you would steal or hijack some portion of traffic and searches from search engines, and also you don't keep them satisfied, because in majority of cases, unless this is a huge marketplace like Alibaba or Amazon that invested tons of money here, so customers would be not satisfied. Voila, in majority of cases, this unnecessary intermediary dilemma would push away this business model or these business owners from Google. This is why I call it dilemma. So it means, as a business owner, these kind of people must be aware. They must have lots of social traffic, paid traffic, other word of mouth traffic in order to build the audience and not to be reliant. The second dilemma comes from the sustainability or ecology constraint. Google is keep crawling and indexing more and more sites every day, every month and every year. So it means it is highly pressed by sustainability and ecology claims that push him to the limit of reducing the number of crawls, and also there's a reason of cost cutting here. So this is a dilemma, is that how to kind of balance. So Google would at all times be balancing these constraints of cost cutting and ecology, and also the need to produce relevant results to keep users searching more and more and to keep users coming in. The third dilemma here is about diminishing or decreasing satisfaction from search. This is to say that search engine users would normally feel less satisfied every time they come in. So simply because their search experience is increasing, they're expecting more and more, and some things are understood as given. So it means that especially top 10 or top 20 results must be shuffled by periods to produce more enticing experience. It also explains many things that Google does, as introducing some features in the search, like search generated answers, like introducing artificial intelligence, because simply satisfaction from search is going down. I personally distinguish 8 things that is descriptive of it. So first is making your site accessible and indexable by Google. Second is organizing your site information on the website for ease of crawling, ease of understanding. Third is being able to make content useful for users. The fourth is influence how the website looks in search. Make sure that the images and videos are indexable. Fifth is promote your website and building common links. Then it's ensure compliance, and finally monitor and analyze performance. When it comes to what SEO does, or what SEO professional is actually working on every day, it's useful to use the concept of product management and SEO operation. It deserves a special video from us. But here, for the sake of this discussion, let's say that SEO operations is a daily activities of these professionals. Here, in this particular SEO setting, the biggest part of the work obviously lies on the analysis, on ensuring compliance part, on monitoring performance, and also the competitor surveillance. On the SEO operation level, we probably have to envisage this triad I like the most. This is to say education, validation, And this triad it's always like catch-all term for the SEO professional activities, because it's very kind of descriptive of the daily activities. SEO education is making sure that in a big team, everything is synchronized and all the teams are aligned around the SEO objective and SEO best practices, this is to say compliance practices. So SEO education is not only teaching something, it's just ensuring that the information is spread and everybody understands, the deliverables and the key objectives, how to attain them. So if you consider a company that's working in competitive business that uses lots of organic traffic, so then SEO education would normally flow into SEO automation, because SEO education is also setting tasks or technical requirements for automation team, which is to say ultimately it boils down to producing some tools that enable daily activities for SEO guys to take more active part in the company's life. It's just not only an education or counseling side, it's just to be able to produce things by themselves. And as a part of SEO automation, there goes another triad. This is keyword expansion or keywords enrichment. This goes landing page production, automatic or semi-automatic landing page production, and ensuring the compliance, quality, accessibility of these pages. Triumphs of SEO education, which is to say that the SEO person is not just a counseling someone, it's a person who actually produces the content through expansion, refining of keywords, and this is a person who kind of takes part in the money flow, in the revenue generation. The prominent thing that SEO people are doing, are working with, by contrast to any other guys, is the concept of keywords, because you can be anyone but SEO, but the keyword concept only sticks to the SEO, because you can write any kind of text without knowing the keywords, and the difference will be very significant. SEO is a person who can enrich, who can make the difference in terms of text or landing pages, the crawlability, findability, ability to attract traffic. This is the magic key of SEO. Keywords is a magic key of SEO. Validation is validating the action of different departments, different sides of the company in order to be compliant, to be safe on a Google site. And monitoring is the daily activities of monitoring, tracking the performance, tracking the experiment that's been set by the other teams or SEO themselves. And this is actually the substance of this quality assurance framework. And finally, this is what I call research and opportunities building. So actually research and opportunities, finding the best practices with the competitors, making surveillance on your competitors, overall market landscape, the industry, the best practices, the best moves of your competitors, making research ad hoc or some planned research on different aspects of marketing and SEO itself, and also analyzing how these or that things were built elsewhere with other guys, not only you. The key takeaways of the section are as follows. So there's a big difference between the substance of SEO and the what SEO guys are doing. So the substance of SEO, what is SEO, can be actually described by 8 points. This is enabling accessing, crawling and indexing of your website. The second is making sure the website is organized properly. The third is making sure the website uses or is built off the great content that provides value to users. Then the fourth is making sure the websites or the results from the websites look nice in search to users. Then optimizing the images and the videos on the website. Then promoting the websites and building links or attracting inbound leads. Then ensuring compliance of the website to Google best practices and requirements. And finally, making research recommendations and feedback loops. So this is the substance of SEO, what actually is SEO. The SEO activity of your profession is slightly different things. So SEO activity most of the time is called by 3 things. This is education, validation, and monitoring. So SEO in most cases would work with the hands of other people. And it brings us to the next question. So a good way of thinking about the SEO professional activity is by making a distinction where in businesses where SEO are independent or semi-independent, this is to say they have some tools or automation tools in order for them to be independent from the company, in order for them to produce the content themselves or take a significant substantial part in the producing of content, and the companies which don't have this option, where SEO is mostly about kind of advisory role, ensure the validation and monitoring. There's a big difference in meaning and intensity of this profession. So finally, if you think about the SEO activity is a good way to understand that there's a product activity and also SEO operation. Product is introducing the new things, including structural changes that your website might be going through, including the migrations, the translation, localization of versions, including the scaling of your content or products in e-commerce and so on, and also including the marketing strategy and overall business strategy. This is the structural changes that SEO accompanies, and it's always fine to have someone who can kind of overlook and ensure compliance. There also a significant, the most substantial part that's called quality assurance, evaluation, validating and monitoring. The part that I was calling SEO Operations, more or less dependent on the business. In the larger form, this is something that is about independently or semi-independently producing content. In other forms, it's just about ensuring the adequate quality of things produced by other people. And finally, in all kind of enterprises, you will have this function as to make research, analysis, and providing feedback. All right, let's discuss then the substantial topics of SEO, and we start from two. The first two is enabling Google agents to crawl, index your website, and organizing your website accordingly in order to make it search friendly, reduce duplication of content, and allow for efficient indexing. So these two topics are obviously central to the role of SEO. Some may call them starting points of technical SEO. What's important is that normally within a small or medium-sized company, SEO would start off with them, would do them right, and most of the time they will not get back to this in their daily work, because once done, it's fine. When it's a bigger company, when you have to index thousands or tens of thousands new pages per week, obviously it's another point of discussion. So here, SEO would normally work through three bigger things: it's education, valuation, and as always, SEO, as I say, is done by hands of different people, different other people, not just SEO professionals themselves. So educate them then on what's important in crawling and organizing your website, making sure it is properly validated through checklists, common workflows, and monitoring the performance. Error-free execution is vital to those three things. So enabling crawling means this is caught by the first dilemma of search. So this is the ecology dilemma. So crawling the website means for the SEO providing such structure of the website, such link signals, such attributes on pages that robots would retrieve as much information as possible from the first or the least number of attempts. This is to say, such the website organization corresponds to the frequency of crawling. The easier and more straightforward this organization, the more frequent website might be crawled and more information retrieved. The crawler-friendly websites, this is the websites where structured data and other things organized in order to save the crawl budget from Google. The breadcrumbs, categories, and so on is made in such way that enable Google robots to find all necessary products or items on the website. So then, normally effective organization of the web structure effective link signals, internal link signals, would warrant that website will be crawled effectively. Google would not spend too much money on crawling it. It's about navigation, it's about simplicity of the website organization, it's about proper directives, it's about link signals. And let's discuss link signals within the broader setting. What actually is link signals, what SEO guys are doing, because this is one of the most important but largely undervaluated topics. So as now we say that it's vital for a SEO guy to check whether a website can be crawled regularly, can be indexed, and the page is accessible. So then the internal linking would normally respond to the question, which are the pages that are most important to website owners, which pages should be ranked higher by Google algorithms in their search results, and so on. So this is what's done by internal linking. In the early days it was called link juice or link sculpturing. It's very important for SEO to be able to overlook on this organization of websites from the standpoint of internal linking. So internal linkings would suggest these pages are more important, these pages are less. Internal linking would not only convey the signal in terms of quantity, but also in terms of quality, because internal linking would have titles or anchors which say what are the pages about, what are the linked pages about. And finally, in this group of things, some structural things like migrations, changes in the infrastructure, changes in domains, as well as avoiding the duplication of content is also fall under the scope of activity of SEO. So the structural changes are really important when the websites are rebranding, or some business were bought by another, and so on. So it's kind of vital for SEO to overlook these things, how they implement it, especially in organic traffic intensive businesses. Whereas content duplication is something that's not obvious to many business owners, because it's how the web content output is done. So when the web pages are indexed, some of them might be actually very similar in content to another. So it's from the angle of sustainability dilemma, Google would not want to spend too much resources on crawling nearly identical pages. This is why it's very important to avoid this kind of duplication, because duplication hurts your ranking, and also duplication creates other internal issues, like it would work on the website level and can potentially result in decreasing your website overall traffic. So this is something that falls within the competency of SEO, and as I was saying, it's done mostly through the hands of other people. SEO guys would normally educate, validate, and monitor execution here. The third question here is making your content useful for people. Actually, it's on the surface of SEO business as such, whereas allowing crawling and indexing and organizing your website is underneath maybe the hidden part of work of SEO. So then making your content useful is kind of the very heart or the very surface of the profession. But still here we have lots of things that's kind of intersect with the work of other teams, of content team, or for writing team, or for user experience, and some purchaser, supply group teams, engineering itself. So yeah, making content useful is, obviously a bigger topic, and SEO plays their part here. And normally SEO would not hijack all the agenda here, would not say, okay, we are responsible for this. In a smaller companies, yeah, maybe, but it's not right in the bigger ones. So here, to make the content useful from the angle of SEO, we have several things in mind. First is that we must expect for keywords. SEO, after all, is about keywords. Now there's been lots of discussion to what extent keywords might be representative of the profession of SEO, but still I believe a keyword is something very important. Let's take an example. I would say there's a Pikachu, bad keywords. This is kind of nonsense for people like me. But still, for the companies who work in the furniture business, or who have marketplaces in the furniture business, so this is one of the keywords because it reflects this user search intent, the kind of nascent user search for people who have kids, who are fond of Pikachu. They want to have bed shaped with Pikachu. So this is a keyword. Obviously, we might not know it, but still it exists because there exists such terms, such physical, fact. And people would search for it. So expecting for keywords, understanding, the landscape of user searches, the intents and keywords that they use is kind of, formulas for search, hidden passwords for search, is very central to the job of SEO, and no other unit in the company can do this. Not social media guys, not even marketing, no engineering, user experience cannot operate in a concept of keywords. So then it's very important for SEO guy to be able to research for keywords, to make clusterization or organization of keywords by certain, in certain ontology, in certain dictionary, a certain way of understanding. Sometimes it's called clusters. Organizing them by search intent, by what they represent, what kind of intent, what kind of need do they represent, and trying to create the content for these keywords or appropriate the existing content to better respond to this keyword. This is very old, very substantial part of SEO that, as I was saying, cannot be given to any other department, cannot be outsourced to any other department, be it marketing or whatever. Alright, so except for keywords, making user-friendly content is a link into important authoritative resources, because web is built through links, through important things, linking, in order for people to give references, give sources and so on. So linking, finding the links, finding the resources, referencing them is also a very important thing what SEO guys do, because it not only give outbound signals but also testifies or speaks in favor of quality of your own content. The first thing, and is emblematic of SEO job, normally is these guys would try to influence how the website look in search, in Google search results. So we know there were blue links in Google search results, and now things are very fastly changing. But SEO guys would normally be responsible for titles. This is how pages look in Google search results. Would normally be responsible for some snippets. This is to say meta description of pages, how they describe themselves and are shown in Google, and also some rich results or rich snippets. This is to say some of the semantic SEO things, crumbs, author, product reviews, and so on. So overall, SEO is someone who is responsible how the search engine mirrors the content that's been produced by different people on the website, and it's his kind of responsibility here. He takes the sole responsibility, because this is kind of what's only his part of the work. And normally he also works with engineers here, and not only validates but also set direct technical assignments to people in order to ensure the best practices has been kept. But still, Google would not normally at all times follow the directives or recommendations Google requests me keep the titles suggested by the SEO, or take titles from, for example, headings and so on. But still, here SEO has a great level of control over the representation of the website. This is one of their kind of natural inputs into the website visibility and how it looks on search. The fifth thing is about images and video. Now more and more importance given to images and videos. So SEOs are the people who try to optimize images in order to satisfy the best practices requirements, in order to make sure they're understood by bots, by crawlers, in order to say that they're descriptive of the content, in order to make sure that they are economical in terms of the resources, they're compressed and so on. And finally, the videos also require a big deal of SEO's intention, because videos can be showcased not only on the website but also on the search engines and so on. So here SEOs would normally also employ checklists or descriptions. Some will go for automation, including automation creation of alternative description to images, in automation of description of videos and so on and so on. So here the role of SEO is also using the keywords and the research findings, try to influence the look and feel of these assets, images and video in Google, because they, after all, they bring lots of traffic. The sixth, also emblematic part of SEO assignment is promoting the website and building incoming links. Incoming links is a currency in the world of SEO, because nothing so important for SEO except for the content that incoming links, because incoming links are signs of authority of the website. It's how other websites and even Google can trust this one. So earning the quality incoming links is vital to this profession, because the quality of the site directly correlates with the exposure, how much traffic website gains. So earning the links through web content, ensuring the influx of links through digital PR, and also going for social exposure, promotion, and maybe paid advertisement. These are three things with which SEO directly works. So gaining through the content is most the recommended way. So creating good content that people would want to link out to is a no-brainer, is a very important thing to do, and Google would love such SEO guys around. So obviously it's not easy to do, because the likable, shareable and linkable content is very much prerogative of larger websites. So in a smaller business environment you are kind of limited to your own resources. So here SEO guys would normally rely also on other things like link building itself. So building in terms of creating links by themselves, for example, maybe some kind of social links, some links from other resources, some digital PR, which is to say we pay for something, for some exposure, and we get links as a part of it. We don't normally pay for links like this, but we pay for press releases, for exposure, for some interviews, and would on top of it get some links. So here role of SEO is not only to kind of devise this strategy to attract links, which is great, would be great, but not all SEO has this expertise, but also to kind of measure the potential impact of this or that incoming link to the overall effectiveness of the website. So measuring incoming links, the quality, the authority, predicting of effect that they may give to the website is a whole different story, is a part of a daily assignment for SEO mostly, and it's done programmatically by tools like Ahrefs and Rush, different other tools, Systrix, to name a few, but also through a certain kind of experience, because it takes understanding, expertise of what the link donors or the link providers, what they're doing, how quality the link is. Sometimes it involves also some kind of budget consideration, budget per link, per page, and so on. So it takes the form of kind of backlink strategy, which is also another domain of application of SEO efforts. All right, so the seventh one is compliance. So compliance is, it can be done on a certain task, on a task basis, but I also would say that this is another kind of distinct part of activity of SEO, because there will be some compliance issues that can be done on top of the minds of, on top of the processes of SEO. For example, compliance to adhering to anti-spam, no spam activities, no manipulation of search results. This is very important, because otherwise the website may end up in manual action from Google. So actually it means that the website lose significant or whole traffic from Google, and this kind of compliance is very important, because the SEO specialist is the first person in the row of the whole team who is held responsible for the activities vis-a-vis Google. So it means that this person has to ensure all the procedures and compliance practices in the company, so that no one, even himself or herself, cannot violate them, because it made up in losing a big amount of money. They also may be compliance in terms of internal workflow, copyright compliance, and the compliance to building links and compliance with processes. So there also are some things that are called best practices, which is to say these are the things that most successful webmasters or SEO specialists are doing, and it's good to follow them because they warrant or give a good chance that these will end up in good positive results. The best practices, compiling them, finding them is a portion of task or of work, because it takes analysis and takes a good bunch of working hours from SEO. So following best practice, some of them are laid forth in Google recommendations from webmasters. Some of them are given by posting in Twitter and X, in LinkedIn or whatever, by Google officials and analysts. Some of them are explicit, some of them are less explicit, including those patterns that Google would submit to, and so on. And finally, we are talking about kind of sector or segment specific compliance, which is different for news websites or e-commerce websites, affiliate websites. It is a niche approach, which is to say a SEO specialist needs to follow the rules of a niche to understand how niche or a specific market works and how things are done in this one, because e-commerce is pretty much different from news and from affiliate marketing and so on. So each particular segment has its own imprint on SEO and its own deck of documents, deck of things to consider, and so on. And finally, the last but not the least, the eighth actual pillar of SEO is what I call research and analysis. So it takes three things. First is debugging changes in search traffic. Then it's ensuring and preventing abuse. And finally, it's ensuring and error-free deployments. So these are analysis things that are very important. At times, maybe up to 70 or even 80% of time goes for this one. So SEO specialists would daily aggregate a lot of information, a lot of data to be able to respond to challenges. It takes lots of research work. It takes maintaining a journal or backlog of activities, because everything has to be documented and it's a manual work. Obviously, it takes a lot of time. This properly done documentation allows to debug some changes in traffic, for example, what has been done on the side of company, what has been done on the side of Google, following for updates and so on. So it is a very scrupulous, very manual work that has to be done. Also, it's monitoring and preventing of abuse, preventing of things that can actually lead up to traffic drops. And it takes a lot. Also programmatic tools to do alerts, to do early prevention, early surveillance and prevention. And finally, quality assurance and error-free deployment. It's the good practice here is to create a whole framework, a quality assurance framework for SEO guys to be able to communicate with other departments in order to reduce the deployment errors. Because despite everything being said, the vast majority of time for SEO guys is concentrated on one thing, is fixing the errors of deployment, the errors which engineers or programmers has made as a result of poor understanding, of poor communication, and so on. So reducing these errors would greatly enhance the effectiveness of SEO and overall effectiveness of the company. So these were my thoughts on what are the tasks of SEO in the company, hopefully in some high-level language. So we discussed what are the challenges that are in front of SEO, how SEO can be approached looking through the eyes of a company director which doesn't know much about it, how SEO can be approached looking from the different dilemmas or strategic situations that are normally observed in the market. We then approach the topic of subject of SEO and the activities of SEO, which is not the same, obviously. And then we went through the 8 pillars of SEO, which I personally define as most important. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe and ask your question. Thanks. Bye.